Robert Edward Harrod was born on the 4th of March 1947. I was born in the UK, but raised in a household that spoke only French. As a consequence, I couldn't speak very much English at all. My mother didn't want to live in England because she couldn't speak the language, although she had been trying to learn the language. That's how she met my father. He was serving in Burma with the RAF, and she was his pen pal. He met up with her, they married. He convinced her to come out to New Zealand where his parents were. So we came out in 1952, so I was 5 years of age, and I went to the same schools that he had gone to as a kid on the West Coast, and had the same teachers. They couldn't understand why I couldn't communicate with them in English, and they didn't understand what I was saying in French, so they thought I was brain damaged, handicapped. I tell you what, I learned English pretty quickly. In '68 I became eligible for conscription into the Australian Army, and their conscripts were being sent to Vietnam. If I'm going to serve in any army in Vietnam, it'll be the New Zealand Army. So I came back. I joined up as a basic soldier, as a grunt, and I was a few months into that when I was sent on a ROSBI, a regular officer selection board. I was the next officer to go over to take a surgical team over to Vietnam. When they withdrew all their troops, it closed down. At the end of 7 years, I decided I wasn't going to make the army my career. When it became known that I was completing my engagement and getting out, I was approached by an officer from the SIS who asked if I'd be interested in joining the service. The Cold War ran from 47 to 91 when the Soviet Union collapsed, so our primary target, if you like, over those years were the Soviet embassy. So we were targeting the KGB officers, and that was quite exciting stuff. They had big powerful Mercedes and we had Ford Cortinas, so you can imagine that they had a bit of an edge on us when it came to speed. They saw New Zealand as an easy way into the sort of Five Eyes community, any of the packs that we were aligned with. We had people in the community who make it their business to try and spoil our operations, to disrupt what we're doing, to expose us. So you always drove a car in your rear vision mirror looking for a tail if you were going to an agent meet, or you're going to meet a businessman, or whatever you were out there doing, you always drove in your rear vision mirror. And to this day I still drive in my rear vision mirror. You become very withdrawn. You actually live another life.